Welcome to this SUSECON Digital 2022 session on how customers leverage SUSE Linux enterprise servers on IBM Power Systems for success. In this presentation, we're going to look at some of the value that the Power Systems platform brings to customers when it comes to achieving cost efficiency, sustainability goals, and other attributes such as flexibility, reliability, and security. We will then look at 4 incredible customer stories using SUSE Linux enterprise servers on the Power Systems platform. And finally, we'll look at some of the value that SUSE as a company brings to the customers by investing into the Power Systems platform to make the solution even better. First thing I would like to say about IBM Power Systems is how fundamentally different it is in terms of consolidation and flexibility for the most complex workloads. The first thing that I want to point out is the ongoing, for every single generation of the power chip, improvement in energy usage for the same performance and throughput. If you look here, we have an example from the Power 8 generation to the Power 9 to the Power 10 generation, which we introduced last year in 2021. And as you can see, for the same work, we require less infrastructure, a smaller carbon footprint, lower energy consumption from generation to generation. This attribute is extremely important to our customers. Every single project that we have seen in the last 2 years has sustainability as an objective or a key objective, which is why this attribute to the platform is so important. However, this is not the only secret sauce of the platform. By far, the most important aspect when it comes to cost optimization and sustainability is the ability to use a shared processor pool, even for mission-critical production workloads such as SAP HANA and S/4HANA and many others. Because the platform has a hardware-based, highly efficient hypervisor, we have the ability to mix and match production workloads with QA environment, test and devs on the same platform. And we have the ability to share resources, both compute resources, CPUs, and memory in what is called a shared processor pool. This approach allows us to reduce the number of processors used for a complex deployments with many partitions, many environments, almost by a factor of 2. And instead of having dedicated cores for each production environment, we would apply heuristics. And typically for an example with 15 virtual machines, 9 terabytes of memory, which would have typically required 80 dedicated cores, we can reduce to 43 without any impact on the user experience. And this is supported by SAP. This is part of the secret sauce of the platform, and it is fully enabled by a SUSE Linux enterprise server, which can run alongside other environments such as Unix or IBM i. And if you look at some of the numbers, we can consolidate thanks to the power of our systems. An example here, we have 126 Intel-based servers consolidated on 3 Power 9 high-end enterprise servers. And going to Power 10, it would require only 2 of them. And look at the incredible impact on energy consumption. We're going from 102 kilowatts for the Intel-based environments to 30 kilowatts on power 9 and 20 on power 10. And also this can result in a reduction in software licenses. So this is really an example of the incredible consolidation power, cost control, and energy reduction that we have on the Power Platform. Our hardware hypervisor, which again is extremely efficient, is also enabling our client to faster provision mission critical environments such as SAP HANA. We have an example here from Co-op Group here that is running SUSE and measured the provisioning time for new SAP HANA environments was up to 25 faster. So this is very significant. Let's look at some of the other attributes of the platforms which bring value to our joint customers. The first thing is reliability. Reliability is often measured in terms of unplanned downtime. The best way to measure this is to get actual customer data. And there's an analyst called ITIC who runs every year for the last 12 years an annual reliability survey and publishes the results. And they're very interesting. If you look here at the left-hand side, the bottom left-hand side, and by the way, lower is better on this chart, you'll see that IBM Power Systems gets the best score, only second to the mainframe in terms of unplanned downtime. And also, if you look at the other chart, you'll notice that we also get the best score after the mainframe in terms of security, which is another survey run by ITIC. One of the things that is especially important to our customers running SAP, and there are other applications that benefit from the feature as well, is persistent memory. Persistent memory, not to increase the amount of memory available to the application, but really to enable faster restarting times for an SAP HANA environment. Because SAP HANA is an in-memory database, it requires all the data to be reloaded in memory from disk after a restart, which can be significant time commitment. But if the data is already there, because we are using persistent memory, we can get up to 17 times faster at SAP HANA startup. Now, what's interesting about the Power Platform is that we can make any memory persistent. We do not require specific hardware or specific chip technology. We make persistent memory from regular RAM. And the way we do that is we allow the memory to keep the data between reboots as long as the data center does not lose power. So this is very interesting, and this is enabled in SUSE Linux Enterprise Server using a DAX file system, so, which is transparently exploited by SAP HANA and other workloads. Now, another interesting aspect of the platform is dynamic capacity. And this is the ability to either purchase permanent activation of compute and memory resources, or to be to have the customer charged on pay-per-use basis whenever the base capacity is exceeded. And this dynamic capacity applies to both compute hardware capabilities and also SUSE Linux subscriptions. So we can continuously meter the usage, actual usage on the system, and charge the customer for what's been used above the base permanent activation that they have purchased. This is completely transparent to the customer. They do not have to uh, do anything. It's completely automated in a cloud management console. And this concept extends to both on-premises and off-premises deployment. So this is really interesting. It brings significant flexibility to customers who have a large amount of resources and gives them the ability to adjust their permanent capacity without any fear of exceeding it. They'll just be charged for whatever extra is being used. And to make this even better, we extend capacity credit to both on-premises and off-premises. Because IBM offers identical hardware and identical environment on-premises and off-premises on the IBM cloud, with SUSE subscriptions available in both environments, and we have that dynamic capacity metering available in both environments, we offer now what is called a hybrid capacity credit. That credit lets a customer purchase a credit and use it as they see fit, either on premises or off premises or a combination thereof. So here again, we have a significant capabilities that is going to come into play for those digital transformation to modern environments. Now that you understand some of the key attributes and aspects of the platform, let me share with you 4 incredible customer success stories that leverage SUSE Linux Enterprise Server on the IBM Power platform, all of them based on a digital transformation to a modern S/4HANA workload. First, we're going to talk about Audi, who's a customer in Germany in the automotive industry with specific sustainability goals. We'll talk about Hoffmann Neopak, who achieved incredible reduction in energy consumption and processor footprint. We'll talk about Monde Group, who has significant challenges based on large data growth every month. And finally, Electronic Partner, who's also presenting at SUSECON 2022 virtual, who had specific cost reduction targets and needs to scale up. So let me first talk about Audi. Audi, of course, is known for beautiful cars. Their business challenge that the digital transformation to S/4HANA would address is a fundamental change in consumer buying patterns due to the electric car. They had specific goals to increase hybrid and battery use, sales to 40% by 2025. This is a large environment running on SUSE. 250 plus SAP instances. They had a need to consolidate to support innovation and agility. They needed to accelerate data loading to maximize performance, and they had significant cost efficiency targets. The 2 main drivers for Audi were stability and sustainability. And they have achieved this. They had 66% fewer servers after this transformation, and they have been enjoying the 99.999% uptime that we typically witness on the IBM Power Systems platform. The second company I'd like to share, the second success story, is Hoffmann Neopak. So Hoffmann Neopak is in the industry of industrial products. They specialize in packaging. Their business challenge was responding to consumer trends, meet regulations, and cut waste by implementing modern, real-time analytics, operational insights. They needed deep data insights, and they decided a transformation to SAP S/4HANA on SUSE on IBM Power Systems would be the way to go. The two key factors for Hoffman Neopact were cost control, sustainability, and they have 40 IBM Power 9 CPUs today compared to their previous environment, which had more than 540 CPUs on other processing platforms. As a result, they reduced their energy consumption by a factor of 15, and they reduced their processor footprint by 90%, with also some benefits on software license cost. So here again, an example of a customer that achieved sustainability goals using SUSE on the IBM Power Systems platform. Our third example today is Mondi Group. So Mondi is also an industrial product client. Their business challenge was protecting the environment, enhancing sustainability, and execute on the Mondi Action Plan 2030, which was a key enabler of the company's climate action response. So sustainability was extremely high as an objective here. Secondary objective was reducing the risk on the business, stability. They wanted to have a seamless transition to S/4HANA, avoiding business disruption during the conversion. And their key challenge is data growth, because this is a customer that gets an incremental 9 terabytes per month of new data, and they have to handle within their SIP environment. So they converted 40 factories across 15 countries to the S/4HANA platform, and the move went well. They have increased performance by 20%, and they have significantly reduced their impact on the environment thanks to the reduction of footprint. And last but not least, let me talk about Electronic Partner Handle SE. Their business challenge was survival. Survival in a highly competitive domestic market in Germany. And they had significant pressure on margin due to external factors such as the COVID-19 pandemic, the high demand for chips. So the wholesalers had to anticipate consumer trends and place order well in advance. Thanks to SUSE and Power System, they have completed the digital transformation to S/4HANA. They have accelerated key business processes by up to 2x. They really enjoyed specifically this flexibility of the platform and the ability to accommodate peaks, because they do have business periods when the analytics requirements are significantly higher on a temporary basis. So they are heavy user of the capacity on demand that we have seen earlier in the presentation. Reducing risk was also a key factor for this particular customer. So last but not least, I would like to spend a few minutes on the investment that SUSE made for our customers running on the Power Platform. And it's pretty significant. Of course, we do have the SLES for SAP application package, which includes the high availability extension, longer support, SAP-specific tooling, high availability setups, that's been available for a while, but it does not mean that it is static. In fact, there are some improvements in the higher availability support for SAP new features, such as support for multi-target SAP HANA scale-out clusters, an improved takeover blocker for SAP HANA, multi-SID support for NetWeaver, and the ability to do shared SAP NetWeaver and SAP HANA deployment on the same hosts. So very interesting developments here. Also, another area where SUSE continues to invest is automation and monitoring. We are able to deploy SAP HANA and SAP NetWeaver using Terraform Provider and Salt scripts, which are, by the way, integrated in the SUSE Manager. And those packages are available with the latest update in /15 SP3, including deployments on IBM Power VM, which is the hypervisor for IBM Power Systems. The automation is also available off-premises in Power VS, which is the Power Virtual Server, which is basically Power Systems in the IBM Cloud. And this can be leveraged using IBM Cloud provided /4SAP images or customer-built images. Now, if we look at the SUSE Linux Enterprise Server roadmap, the latest release, /15 SP3, is very important to us because it is the first SP that provides native support for the Power 10 generation. And if you look at what's coming up in SP4, which should be available pretty soon, in addition of the additional SAP-specific investment like support of the systemd-based framework, which is an SAP initiative, and SAP tooling updates, on the Power platform, I'm very pleased to share that we should have the first implementation of secure boot on IBM Power Systems, which clearly is a big plus for the end-to-end security and integrity of the platform. So I hope you found this presentation interesting. There are so many things to say, and I would like to thank you. I include here some key resources like the landing page on the SUSE website and an important IBM Red Book on deploying SUSE on IBM Power Systems, primarily for SAP HANA, and our Linux information page, and my contact information. Should you need to contact me for anything, I will be happy to assist any way I can. Thank you very much, and I hope you enjoy the remainder of SUSECON Digital 2022.